You're the problem. Why do you keep sabotaging yourself? It's only you doing it. Very often, people wonder why things happen to them. And more often than not, it's because they're sabotaging. They're the problem in their lives that is creating all these issues. When you're doing well, there can be a need to, or a desire, unconscious, subconscious, to sabotage yourself. For example, you get a promotion at work. Everything's really good. It's something you were going for. But then after receiving that, after getting the new paycheck, after reaching your goal, you start staying up later. You start going out more. You start getting to work later. Your productivity drops off. Your output in this thing that you were doing so well, that you were building, that you were trying to build, you just start not coming to the party as much. If you're into fitness, bodybuilding, etc., you might do a cut. You might lose a bunch of body fat and start looking really good. You might even lose more than what you expected and get leaner than what you were originally intending to be. And then after a while, you just start noticing food more and noticing that your discipline is going away. That suddenly the snacks that you weren't having prior, you just start having more and more. There's different reasons to partake more often than you ever would have. It's almost like even the small discipline that you had pre-cut is gone. And you're just kind of justifying it to yourself and go, oh yeah, it's fine. I've been doing really good lately, etc. I deserve a treat. I get that. So why is it that, especially when we're doing well or we're on the path to doing well, do we feel the need to kind of take our own legs out from under us? It's not a great trait. It's common, but it's not great. It's not awesome. First, we have to know more about what's going on. So ask yourself, what do I believe I deserve? What do you believe you deserve in your life? Is it an attentive relationship with a lovely person? Or is it, deep down, you feel like you don't deserve that type of love? That the only love that you've seen around is conditional? Or one that is there one day, not the next, it's unstable? What do you believe for yourself? Do you believe that you should only reach a certain monetary bracket or a certain level in your passion? Ask yourself, how do you see yourself? Not just what do I believe I deserve, but how do you see yourself as a person, as a dad, as a husband, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, as a musician, whatever you're doing? How do you see yourself? It comes back hand in hand with the what do I believe I deserve question, because if you only see yourself getting to a certain level in these things, it's very hard to break above that without addressing that belief, without addressing that view of yourself. Does your behavior match your view of yourself? Do your actions, your habits match your view of yourself? Maybe you had that goal to cut a bunch of body weight and your actions were really high functioning. You were just being more aware of what you were eating, when you were going to sleep, your hydration, everything. You just had it more dialed in. You took real care with it. But then once you reach that goal, when your view, literal view of yourself, how you saw yourself in the mirror, and your production and how well you did, doesn't match what you see inside your mind and how you view yourself as a person, then what happens? Do you take the foot off the pedal? Do you completely throw out all the good habits that you've previously done to get there because it doesn't match your view of yourself? If your behavior doesn't match your view and beliefs of yourself, you're in opposition internally and problems happen. Then, how do you sabotage yourself? What do you notice about those moments? Those moments where you start acting out of these unconscious core beliefs about yourself. Fear of success, fear of change, fear of having to continue to perform at a high level. Some people do really well when they're going for that next level of, let's say, in their work, and there's a job and a position coming up. And sometimes, even if they want it, they will cut themselves down a little bit because they go, well, hang on, if I have to do this work to get there, then to stay there, I might have to continue this. And it's almost like a default that we go back to what is comfortable. And I touched on this in a recent episode. I spoke about that people can choose a familiar pain just because of the potential unknown pain of going to a higher level or doing more with their lives. They may want to do more with their lives. They might want to do more with their career or whatever else it is. But the fear of what that new pain or discomfort could be can sometimes keep them away, and they'll just choose the familiar stuff. Even if it sucks to be there, even if they don't want to be in that position, they don't want to be in that relationship, maybe they don't deserve, or they feel like they don't deserve better. They feel like they don't deserve more. Fear of the unknown is a real thing. Fear of judgment and rejection, fear of being criticized, fear of being spoken behind your back, etc. This can keep people stuck. This can keep you from pursuing things. But it all comes down to the belief of yourself. If your belief is higher than those things that could happen, and they may, then you'll push past that. But if we believe something other than ourselves, then we might actually do the work for those criticisms. We'll actually willingly fail, willingly fall short, willingly not try. And that's not a great thing that we can practice. We got to get out of that. If that's not the place you want to stay, if you don't want to keep taking out your own legs from under you, you got to do the work to get out of that. There's no other way to do it. And there's no one else who's going to do it for you. It's just going to be you. You're the only person who's going to do the work to get out of those things. Some things can be a short-term fix, or they can be a cover for a time. Maybe you will stick with that job for a while. But if you still don't believe that you should be there, the discomfort internally is going to be rough. If you still feel like you're a phony dad because you're going against how you believe you are as a person, then it's not going to feel genuine. Even if you are really intending to do that, you're going to be nitpicking yourself constantly. It's the beliefs that we have about ourselves. It's the views that we have about ourselves that are so important that we need to change from the ground up, from the roots, because they intertwine and they are down in the soil and they are there. And they go into so many different parts of our lives. It's really important that we fix that. So if you want to change it, we've got to do the work. The first thing we need to do, have awareness and name the patterns. Become aware of these little things that happen. Become aware of the feelings that you get, the feelings of discomfort, and then the behaviors of wanting to act out against what you've been trying to build, the things that you've been trying to do, the things you've been doing well in. I'll give you an example from my life. For myself, I may want to and have wanted to lean down a bit. I go to the gym, I lift weights, I really enjoy that. Food is awesome. I love a bunch of amazing food, just like most people, I would say. And sometimes if I'm doing well and I'm getting leaner than I even intended to, maybe I'm walking more, or maybe I'm just making better choices in general. Over time, I will crave these things that maybe I've been only having a small amount of or not having at all. And it'll be quite a big craving. And I might start justifying it more to myself. And I might start splurging on this and going, yeah, that'll be fine. I've been really good lately, etc. I've been still really good and I'm looking a bit leaner, so that's good. I can still, eat this. And then as body fat does, after like a few weeks, then you notice you go, oh, that is the stack of those sort of decisions that I was making. So for myself, I've got to be aware of how I view myself physically, because if I'm viewing myself as chubby or just not as in shape as I actually want to be, then I start acting out of the belief, not my want, the belief, not my goal. So I know that for me, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of those patterns. And I'm aware that with that, I need to be aware of those patterns. I need to call that out, going like, hang on, I'm just craving it because my mind and my behavior, my stomach is kind of not working together very well right now. It's just a matter of calling those things out, naming them, being aware of them. That's the first step. You then begin to rewire your identity through affirmed action. So you rewire how you see yourself because you start doing the actions that are towards this new identity. So you're trying to shape something new for yourself. And to rewire that, you need to do those affirmed actions, those things that are going to get you towards where you want to go, not where you believe you'll stay. This is done through tiny goals that stretch your beliefs and stretch your capabilities. Because sometimes, and often, we will believe things and do things that we've just always done. So it's easier to do the thing that I've been doing for 30 years versus the thing I'm doing for 6 months. It's just easier. I've just got the reps in. So it's being really conscious to put this new norm in place, to put these new goals, beliefs, and actions in place. These small and consistent goals are the things that building blocks for the thing that you're creating that's new. Accountability and community. This will start off with you first. You've got to be accountable to you. You've got to be completely dialed in that this is something you want and this is something that you're not going to just justify when you fall short, because often we fall short. It's new. It's something different. We're building something new. It's not going to be the sturdiest thing of all time to start with. So you've got to be accountable to you first. But if there's other people that you trust that have your best interests or that are like-minded, if you can get a community of people around you and you're there for as well, and you've all got a common goal, the power in that is enormous. So if you go to a local gym, and I do see with certain gyms, culture is massive. The gym I go to at the moment is great and fine and convenient, but it's just rock up, get your stuff done, go home. And that's fine. I don't mind that. However, I see other gyms, particularly when you look at CrossFit gyms or things where you've got classes, you start developing relationships more, friendships, and you're all there for a reason. So is this something that you can all do? You're like, I'm doing this at the moment. I'm trying to keep on track. Maybe they're doing something similar, and you can all keep each other accountable to not only work hard in the session, but to work hard outside of the sessions, to do the building blocks that are going to create lasting change and help. Obviously, this is to do with that particular niche of, physical activity. But there are so many other ways to do this. If you've got friends that are like-minded with your business or entrepreneurship, for example, and they're in the similar boat, it's important to talk to each other if you guys have that trust and have that ability, and see if you can be accountable with doing the reps with these new things, doing the reps with your investing or with your production, your effort, your time, your building. Maybe you're building something new and it's really uncomfortable. And it's checking in on one another, making sure that we're doing it because we ultimately want to do it. It's aligning with the bigger thing within us, not our insecurities. We've aligned with our insecurities for too long. This is something new. This is something you're trying to build and grow out. But be accountable to yourself. If you've got a community or you can create a community, be accountable with others also. That's why I'm also trying to develop my community, because I want us to be accountable with faith, fatherhood, leadership, and just being the best partners that we can be and the best people that we can be. That's a massive thing. Address core beliefs. Name and address these core beliefs. What are they? What are the things that you believe about yourself? What sits right? Is it, I'm a partially present dad? I'm a good friend when it's convenient? Or I'm not there when times are tough? Is that what you believe about yourself? It's all good to be there when things are good, when things are fine. When things are tough, are you there? Maybe you believe that you just aren't and won't be, and it's going to be too uncomfortable. I'll just let him go through it and I'll be there when he's okay. Is that the belief that you have about yourself? Is that what you practice? Address and name these beliefs. Name them first. Figure them out. Look at it. Have a look at patterns in the past. Ask why that pattern's there. I do notice that I don't feel comfortable in those situations, and I kind of shy away from that person for like a week or two. And then I come back and I kind of test the waters a bit. Notice that pattern. Then address it. And how do we uproot it? Go, is that something that I want to keep practicing? That's the first question. Do I want to keep practicing that behavior? No. Well, what do I do? That's the opposite of that. Well, I don't want to just barge into that person's house and go, what's wrong? I might want to go, hey mate, just checking in. How are you going? Do you need any help? Do you need to talk to someone? And maybe it's you talking to them, or maybe it's you getting them help. By addressing these beliefs and looking at the core problems, you can debunk the core beliefs. You start looking at it and going, there's actually giant problems with that. Giant problems with the behavior, but giant problems with the belief that I have about myself. Because that's not how I want to be. I don't want to be that forever. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to have those issues. I don't want to be known as a person who's not going to be there for his friends. Debunk the core, debunk the beliefs. That's when we can replace them. We can plant something healthier than the stuff that we've just done forever, the stuff that we may have inherited, the stuff that we've developed over time. Start visualizing how you do want to see yourself, how you do want to see your life, how you do want to see your business, your wealth, your family, your body, your actions day to day, your faith, whatever you want to do. Start visualizing that. Start seeing what it could be. Because it would be much greater to move towards that than to be stuck where you are. To be stuck in a pattern that you may not either recognize or stuck in a pattern that you may not like. It's much better to work towards good things because let's say you've got an outlandish goal. It would still be better to move towards the really unrealistic, crazy goal and see where you end up, even if you didn't quite reach the height, and see how much further you are from where you are right now. You know what this is like. You know what this level is like. But you want to see what that's about. That's a good thing to move towards. Why not? Believe it, practice it, move towards the things and practice. Visualize. Visualization is immensely powerful. It's something that I know I need to do more, is visualize those amazing things and move towards that because you're rewiring your brain. And I share these little bits because I want you to know that I'm not perfect with any of this stuff. I'm a work in progress too. And I need to do these things as well. And I can always get better. And you can too. We can all do that. We're all in this together. But it's a great thing to do when we're all in it together, moving towards the same thing. We just want to be better. So that's what this is about. It's just trying to improve, trying to be closer to, I guess, not only who we want to be, but how God's designed us to be. Notice the patterns, identify the beliefs, and see the triggers. What have you done in the past? Where is that coming from? Your beliefs. And what triggers that? What things do you notice you do after that? The ways that you sabotage, the way that it starts putting its foot in the door, and then you open a little bit, see who's there, and then suddenly you're doing the stuff that you don't want to do. If you start debunking these things, you're doing it by building evidence against them. You're building evidence against the fact that you can't be these beliefs. You can't be these sabotaging patterns. Build evidence against these things, and that will debunk them. It will show yourself and your beliefs that you're like, I am capable of doing a good job. I am capable of being consistent and building wealth or being there when people need me the most. I am capable of being an attentive partner and listening and being kind and calm first rather than just reacting. With building out that evidence, speak out your intention as well. Speak out what you're trying to do. I'm going to try and be really calm with my wife right now. I'm going to try and be attentive. I don't want to fix it immediately. I want to hear her first. I want to be there. I want to make sure she's okay first before I go into fix it mode, before I do any of those sorts of things. Whatever it may be, speak it out first. Speak out to yourself. When the kids are yelling and screaming, carrying on, I'm going to take a breath and then I'm going to respond. I'm going to do I statements rather than blaming statements. For example, I'm going to call out the behavior in my child, not the child. I'm not going to link them with the behavior. Not you're a naughty kid, you're being naughty. It's that was a naughty thing to do. That was bad behavior. Not you're a bad kid, you're a naughty kid, this sort of thing. You may want to change that language. So you go, all right, I've got to separate the behavior from the child. I'm going to separate that. And that's a great thing to do. But it's that thing where in order to do it, you may have to speak it out first. You may have to speak out your intention, the fact that, hey, Grant, you're trying to get better at this. Grant, remember, you're trying to not put the behavior to the kid. You're trying to separate that. Remember that. So try that today. I mess up, take ownership for it. Those sorts of things. It's practice. Just keep practicing the thing that you're not great at, and eventually you'll be great at it. You will only reach the level that you believe you can reach. A lot of people, I would dare say most, believe that we have a much shorter ceiling than we actually do. That we're only able to reach this level in our lives. We're just meant to have this. We're just meant to work until we're 65 and earn this amount of money, have this sort of house, do these sorts of holidays, have these sorts of friends, etc. And that's something that we get taught a lot in school as well. You're meant to study, get a job, and do that forever. And that's the sort of grid that we're given a lot of the time. This is where you're from. This is where you'll stay. And none of that's bad if that's what you want, or none of that's bad if it's a great fit and that's aligned with your values. That's fine. But if it's something against what you want, these beliefs that have been established, it is a problem. And there's this direct opposition that's happening inside of you. One of these ceilings that I've noticed over the years is financial. This I had no idea about. This I was quite surprised about, actually. A few years ago when I learned about this, I saw that it's similar to the body thing, the body, the food, the exercise, how lean you are, etc. It's direct opposition from what you believe about yourself, so you may start sabotaging. Financially, this is a thing too. So you may reach a level, you might start making more money or saving more money. You may be making the same amount of money as you did before, but you might start saving more. And then when you see your bank account have more money, you start justifying purchases that you may not even be that interested in. And I'm not saying that, you save up money for something and it's something you really want or it's something really important to you. Let's say you're booking a trip, etc. Awesome. That's great. It's got a purpose. But I'm talking about when things don't have a purpose and then we start justifying them just because. Not because it's like, oh, I've worked really hard and I've done this thing. That's fine. That's all cool. That can get a bit wishy-washy. Like it's not a black and white thing here. Where I'm coming from, it's more that we feel uncomfortable seeing our bank balance with that much money. Let's say you go from $60,000 to $80,000, right? That's an extra 20 a year. And let's pretend that there's no difference in tax. Let's just pretend that. So you see an extra 20 in there. You're like, whoa, I got 20 more to spend because you're used to seeing a much lesser amount. So you might start justifying or sabotaging without you even noticing that you're spending a lot more money. You're spending a lot more money on stuff. Just stuff. It doesn't bring any more fulfillment. It's not bringing any more motivation or anything like that. You're just getting rid of it more. If you're investing, if you're saving, if you're putting it towards something, building something, awesome. That's purposeful. That's stuff that maybe you wanted with that raise or with this newfound saving, etc. But when we just trying to get rid of it because deep down, that's too much for me. That's out of alignment with how I see myself or what I'm used to having. That's the problem. I remember when I was about 19 and I went from a job, this is a while ago, obviously. So when I was about 19, a lot of my friends were apprentices. They were doing trades. There were leckies, diesel fitters, things like that. And I remember that they're all getting something ridiculous. It's like between $6 and $10 an hour. It's something minuscule. And I remember at the time I was doing a lot of basketball. I worked at basketball courts and I was getting $10 an hour. And then I was also doing that and I was coaching basketball at schools and that was like a gold coin donation per kid. And, however much that was per day, it wasn't a lot. But then I got a job as a youth worker and that job was $26 an hour. So I had like 2.5 times my original rate. So that was crazy for me. And I remember down the track, I had saved a bit of money and hadn't really realized that I had done so. And I remember looking at my bank balance and going, oh, that's more than normal. Oh, I could buy this Nintendo Wii. That's awesome. But it wasn't something that I even wanted to purchase outside of that. I just saw that I could. And then I bought it. And I remember going, why did I do that? That's a bit odd that I did that. Like, it's fine that I've got it. And it was a worthwhile purchase in the end, and that's fine. But I just bought it because I could. Not because I necessarily really wanted to, not because it had a real big meaning for me or as a goal. I just did it because I could, because I saw that there was a certain amount of money and I was probably a little bit uncomfortable with that. I was a little bit uncomfortable that I had a few more $100 or an extra $1,000 than what I normally would have. And then so I got rid of it, basically. That's something that looking back from now or the last few years when I kind of learnt about the financial ceiling or how it applies in the financial sense, that I realized that that's what I did. I bought that because I was uncomfortable. And that's not something I ever want to do. And that's something that I wanted to highlight to you because that's something that I didn't even realize that I did. It was those unconscious core beliefs to do with what I believe that I should have or could have. And when it exceeded that, I quickly got it back down. I should only earn 60 grand. Boom. I should only earn 80. Boom. So whatever it is above that, we try to get it back down. So that's why some people, when you earn more money, they start spending more. You don't actually save more. You're like, no, I've got the same amount in my bank. It just brings it back down to that level because that's where they're comfortable or that's where they're used to. What do you want to believe about yourself? Those closest to you, what do they say about you? Do they say that you're a bang-on mediocre dude that should just settle for the middle and go 50% the whole time and that's your life? What does God say about you? What has he said about his people in the Bible? Does he say that you're a king or a queen? Or does he say that, yeah, he's all right. He's okay. He's not too bad. He'll get the job done eventually. No, he's not doing that. He's not selling you short. So why would we align with anything less than what God said about you? And why would we not believe those closest to us who know us the best? Why would we not believe what they think about us as well? We may not be there yet, but is that something you want to move towards? Or is it you're just okay treading water where you are, or just you're okay being where you are? If that's all you want and it's deep down, I'm so happy here, I am joyful here. That's different. But if you're uncomfortable because you're acting in alignment with a belief that is not accurate to you, with a view that is not accurate to you, that's a problem. That's why you're feeling how you're feeling. That's why you're uncomfortable or you're low, whatever these things are. So we've got to fix it. Have a look at what you want to believe about yourself. Have a look at what those closest to you believe about you, and have a look about what God says about you. Practice. Build out this new version of how you view yourself. Put in the reps. I know I've said this earlier, but put in the reps. Start building it. The less you do, the less you'll get. The more you speak it out, you visualize it, and you practice the things that are aligned with that person who you know you are deep down, who you know you can be in practice, not just in belief. Put in the reps. Try. Continue to try. Make a mistake. Identify where that came from. Forgive yourself for making that mistake. That's an important one. Forgive yourself. Build out of that. Practice. Put in the reps. Believe that you can do what you need to do. So you're not the problem anymore. So that you're actually the solution. You're actually on the track. It's a long track for whatever you're building. But it's better to be on that than to be lost in the wilderness somewhere in the shrubs. Don't be a shrub, dude. Put in the reps, build the evidence and the wins in that column. And then sooner or later, you'll notice, you're like, wow, I've been doing well. Acknowledge that. Enjoy the fruits of your victory. But then keep on that track. Keep doing it. You'll enjoy it. You're worth more than what you believe you are. You're worth a lot more than that. And you're capable of amazing things. So why not try? That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And I look forward to hearing that you've been killing it. And I hope it really enriches your life. And I hope you really uproot those old beliefs and plant really healthy ones that help you and your family. So all the best. Take care. Community's coming up. Maybe it's here. I don't know. I'm recording this, but by the time it comes out, it might be up and running. I'll let you know. All the best. Take care.